Alabama's season is far from over. Just because they're 5-2 coming off a loss to Tennessee on the road, they still have a 98% chance to make it into the playoffs this year if they win out, which is more likely to happen than them missing the playoffs completely. They are not going to lose to Missouri at home, and they're going to clobber LSU on the road because Brian Kelly and that squad, they're overrated. I'm not buying LSU. I know that they've had a few good wins. They beat Ole Miss. They handled Arkansas on the road, but LSU is far from being a great team. And Brian Kelly is the biggest fraud in college football. Kalen DeBoer, I still have a lot of faith that this dude is going to be a great head coach for the University of Alabama. This dude has beaten some of the best head coaches in college football. Kirby Smart this year, even though Georgia came from behind and they made a close game in the second half, you still can't make it seem like Kalen DeBoer didn't win that game, because at the end of the day, when you look at the schedule, when you look at the results, and you look at the box score, it shows a W in the win column for Alabama and an L for Georgia. So you can't downplay Kirby Smart losing to Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer has also beaten Dan Lanning twice, who just got a big win at home against Ryan Day in Ohio State not too long ago. He also beat and outcoached Steve Sarkisian in the semifinals of last year's playoffs. So Kalen DeBoer has more than shown the ability to be a great head coach. It's just that Alabama right now is in a mid-season slump, and they got to find a way to get themselves out of it. I don't know what the hell has happened to Jalen Milroe, but this dude is not a good quarterback anymore. He can't throw in the middle of the field. He has bad accuracy. It's really funny how Jalen Milroe can throw the deep ball with more accuracy than he throws short and intermediate passes. And then this dude just has tunnel vision. It seems like he only cares about throwing the football to Ryan Williams, and he doesn't think that anybody else at wide receiver is good enough to make plays, but just one person. Like, Kalen DeBoer has some things that he has to clean up, but that's with every coach throughout the course of a season. You know, with how oversaturated the SEC has become due to conference realignment and the schedule changes that they have made, you're going to have years when there is no dominant team in this conference. Texas just got boat raced by Georgia. The SEC this year has showed us that you can be a good coach and a good team and still fall on any given Saturday. I'm not about to count out Kalen DeBoer in Alabama just because they're 5-2 right now. They can still go 10-2 as long as they win out and make it into the playoffs. And this is even without them making it to the SEC championship. Can you get to the SEC title game? The chances of that happening are really slim to none. But you still got a great chance to get an at-large bid in the dance. There are not too many teams that the committee are going to be willing to put in the playoffs over Alabama. If Indiana goes 11-1 and their only loss is to Ohio State, and you got a 10-2 Alabama that has to go up against a 11-1 Indiana for one of the final spots in the playoffs, who do you think the committee is going to go with? They're going to go with Alabama, because Alabama's win over Georgia still is a great resume builder for them to get into the playoffs as long as they can win out. This team has a lot of talent. We saw last week the defense play really well against Tennessee, who has one of the most explosive offenses in the nation. That offense last week showed the ability to be able to put points up on the board against a really great Tennessee defense. But it's just that Alabama right now, they just aren't playing good football. They're undisciplined. They're beating themselves. Jalen Milroe has been throwing costly interceptions in the red zone the last couple of weeks. It's just they haven't been playing winning football. I really believe that Alabama is beating Alabama more than Alabama losing to Vanderbilt and losing to Tennessee. Like, to me, they didn't get beat by Tennessee. They beat themselves. Same thing with Vanderbilt. I have yet to see a game where Alabama has played in where they just got completely dominated and they didn't have a single chance to win the game at all. They had a chance to beat Vanderbilt. They had a chance to beat Tennessee, and they just beat themselves with questionable coaching decisions. Like, what the hell are you doing? Calling the screen pass on 4th and 22. Like, what kind of madness is that? If anything, just go ahead and throw a Hail Mary to Ryan Williams if that's what the play call is going to be. That's the most creative you can get, Kalen DeBoer. And you're supposed to be one of the best offensive minds in college football. Like, look, I refuse to believe that Alabama made the wrong hire by replacing Nick Saban, one of the greatest head coaches in the history of football, the GOAT head coach of college football, with Kalen DeBoer, because this dude has won everywhere he's been. He was winning NAIA national championships at his alma mater. He won at Fresno State. In only 2 years, he took Washington from being irrelevant to being a national championship runner-up. This dude has won everywhere he's been. He's a winner. And there's no way that he can go to a program like Alabama with more resources than what he's ever had at any stop he's coached at and just become a worse head coach. I don't think he's Don Shula 2.0. I don't think he's Gene Chizik, because his resume has shown otherwise. This dude is a winner. And I'm willing to die off this hill that Kalen DeBoer is going to turn this season around. Alabama is going to win out. They're going to smack Missouri at home. They're going to smash LSU in Death Valley. They're going to win the rest of these games, and they are going to punch their ticket into the college football playoffs this year. Mark my words, I refuse to give up on Kalen DeBoer. This dude is a great coach. We've seen it in the past, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see it again. Alabama just has to find a way to make corrections, and they've already have made corrections, man. They just got to be more disciplined, and they got to be more level-headed in these crucial late-game situations. You can't be having these stupid penalties for unsportsmanlike conduct when a guy gets in your face and you retaliate and you punch him in the helmet and the ref sees it and he calls a flag on it. Like, Alabama, I don't think they're in a bad spot right now. As long as they win out, they got a 98% chance to punch their ticket into the playoffs this year. I still believe it's going to happen because I believe in Kalen DeBoer. I don't believe in Jalen Milroe, but I do still have faith in Kalen DeBoer.